Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Financial Fix with Sharnella. Today, I'd like to talk about fees. Lately, there's been a lot of convenience fees that I'm noticing popping up, and it's becoming quite annoying. And it slowly chips away at your net worth. Recently, my husband and I, we got married on my birthday, June 20th, 2025 this year. And we booked our wedding through a wedding planner in Vegas, and we knew that it wasn't going to be cheap, but the convenience fees were a bit much. We were a bit turned off because we we knew what the cost was to plan the wedding, and in the end, when it was time to make the payment, we were going to make the payment online. Obviously, why? Because it was convenient. And most companies, if that I'm aware of, if you purchase items online, there's not necessarily a credit card fee or a convenience fee to pay for items like that. At least so I thought. So in the end, we were charged a $135 convenience fee, which was, in my opinion, a bit ridiculous. And at the time that we were making the final payment, we didn't have enough time to mail a check in because I don't like paying convenience fees, even if I can afford them, even if I have plenty of money in the bank. Why should I pay them? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So that was one convenience fee that I was upset about, but it was unavoidable because, again, we waited till, a couple of days before the deadline, just because we were busy. Life happens. And so we got the notification, hey, it's time to make your payment. So we made the payment, paid the $135 service fee. But the other shocker was, and I'm sure that when our wedding planner put together our package, which we paid for the hotel and the taxes up front before we even went to Vegas, I'm sure she told us that there were some sort of service fees or hotel fees, but we didn't bother to check what those fees were before finalizing all the details. And I was very disappointed that in checkout, we were told that the fee was $67 a day for a resort fee. And I thought to myself, our stay at this hotel was less than memorable in a positive way because we had a refrigerator in our room that did not work. So we asked for another refrigerator. That one did not work. And so we yet again had to ask for a third replacement. Finally, we received a refrigerator that worked halfway. And we had some other issues with some of our guests in another room. And so, I thought to myself, my God, they're charging all these fees, just fees for everything that you do these days. Restaurants are starting to go up on, starting to add fees, sometimes hidden fees that you aren't aware of. Even cruise liners. I read the other day that when people take cruises, now you're going to have to pay an additional $5 per person if you want to visit Mexico on your cruise. And to some of you, you may think, oh, it's just $5. What's $5? Well, this year it's $5. July 1st, 2025 is when it was announced that all cruise liners will be charging an additional fee of $5 per passenger per the request of the Mexican government to help cover their bills. That's for 2025, but for 2026, that fee will go up to $10 per person. 2027, the fee will go up to $15 per person, and 2028, it will go up to a whopping $21 more per person. And so, can I afford an extra $5, $10, $15 per person when I go on a cruise? Should I choose to go to Mexico? Yes, but I am against paying fees whenever possible. I only use my credit cards when it's a benefit to myself. And if it's not a benefit to myself, where I'm earning reward points or earning cash back on my purchases, then I won't use my credit card because I am a huge supporter of paying for your things, for paying for things with cash. I am a huge supporter of paying for items with cash if service fees are going to be an issue. So let's go back to Vegas. We're not done. A friend of ours wanted to gamble at the casino at the hotel we were staying at, and you would think that if you're gambling at the casino, chances are you're going to lose some money, that they would be okay with the fact that you're going to lose money and maybe not charge such outrageous fees to extract money from the ATM machine. But that isn't clearly the case. Our friend paid $12, a $12 transaction fee to get money out of the machine that he later used to gamble, and subsequently had fun gambling, but pretty much lost it all. So the thing is, going back to convenience fees, when you add a little bit of convenience fees here, a little bit there, some over here, some over there, before long, when you add it up over the year, it can total in the hundreds or even thousands of dollars in convenience fees that you're giving to someone else because you're patronizing their business. And though I do understand that these companies are charged a fee from the credit card companies, they're still providing a service to you that they're making it convenient for you to use a credit card so that you can use or pay for or patronize their business. So why am I being charged a convenience fee when I am patronizing your business? I'm bringing business to you. So I shy away from paying convenience fees. I know a lot of people nowadays, they oftentimes don't have cash, they don't carry cash, they use a credit card all the time. And there are still a lot of companies that do not charge convenience fees for using your credit cards. And so those are the companies that I patronize with a credit card or sometimes with cash. But my whole point is, I'd like for you all to really add up the cost of all of these convenience fees, because although it may seem small, over time, those convenience fees add up. And again, it takes away from the amount of money that you could be saving. It takes away from the opportunity for you to invest that additional savings. So it isn't just the money that you're losing on the convenience fees, which could probably total in the hundreds or thousands each year, but it's also the loss of potential interest that you could earn if you were to invest in, a wise investment. So moving forward with the fees, I love going to the movies because I love watching movies. And in the beginning, a few years ago, there was a service that the theater would offer where you could order your tickets from home, from your cell phone or computer, and you could choose your seats. And when you arrive at the theater, you've already got your ticket, you've got your seats chosen. Wow, that was a great service. Now, that was something that they forced us to do during COVID, or should I say, I'm sorry, right after COVID. This is something that they forced us to do right after COVID. And so I thought to myself, this is a very convenient service that they're providing for free, but I bet in time they're going to take away the free aspect and start charging people. Well, I was right. Within, I think, a year or two, they started charging a fee per ticket. I think it's an additional $1 and maybe now $2 to buy your tickets at home and choose your seats in advance. And I simply refuse to pay that fee. Again, can I afford it? Yes. But if you look at it from a perspective of, oh, it's just a couple of dollars, and you don't value that couple of dollars that you're wasting unnecessarily, when you could simply just get to the theater an additional 15-20 minutes sooner and stand in line and get your tickets. If you don't begin to value your money as a valuable asset that's used to work to put you in the financial position that you want to be in. Every dollar should be working to help you, to help put you in the position that you want to be in. If you don't look at it from that perspective, you're not going to achieve the highest goal that you could possibly achieve, because you're leaving too much money out there that's being wasted. You're wasting far too much money. When paying bills online, sometimes there is a convenience fee. Not every company charges a convenience fee to pay online, but sometimes they do. And the funny thing is, years ago we were encouraged to pay for our bills online. We were encouraged to start using our credit cards more often. And during the time of encouragement, there were few fees, if any. And now that everyone's become accustomed, it's kind of like a bait and switch, where you kind of get me used to this service. You've let me see how convenient it is, and now all of a sudden it's like we've got you in a trap now. We've got you used to that convenience. I'm only going to charge you a few cents in the beginning. Then the next time I'm going to charge you $1. Then it's going to go up to $2. Then it's going to go up to $5. Where does it end? So moving along, the other more popular form of convenience fees these days is event tickets. And again, in Vegas, we wanted to see the Blue Man Group. And so initially I was going to purchase the tickets online until I realized there was a $3 per ticket. No. I think it was actually more than that. I think it was a ridiculous amount of money. It was something like an extra $8 per ticket to see the Blue Man Group, and in convenience fees through this particular ticket company. And so I decided, no, I'm actually going to go to the facility where the Blue Man Group is going to perform, and I'll purchase the tickets there, as I do with my circus tickets and any other event tickets. Because again, I think now the fees range somewhere between $7 and $10 per ticket in convenience fees. And again, over time, it really adds up. And especially if you're going in a large group, $7 to $10 per ticket is a lot of money. And I want to get you to really consider how much you're losing when you pay these convenience fees. And I want you to look back, if you have the time, take the time to look back over some of the past purchases that you've made and look at the convenience fees. Yes, we're very good at complaining in the moment. Oh my God, look at these convenience fees. They're so freaking expensive. But then what do? We turn around and we pay the we pay the convenience fee. But not only do we do it once, but we do it over and over and over again. And it isn't just one or two convenience fees for one or two things throughout the year. It's now becoming more of a norm for companies to charge convenience fees, because they're looking at the fact that, well, people are paying our competitors these convenience fees. So why not charge them the convenience fees? Because they're not thinking about their financial future. They're blindly putting all of these expenses on a credit card, and for many of us, we're not paying it off. Your balance just consistently goes up, month after month, year after year. And so you really, really need to start focusing more on spending your money more wisely and pushing back when it comes to these convenience fees. Maybe you don't go to that concert, or if you decide to go to the concert, maybe you go to the venue where the concert is being held and you purchase the ticket. And you might say, boy, Sharnella, that sounds like a good idea, but it's so inconvenient. Well, is it? Maybe it is. But at the same time, how seriously do you value your future? How seriously do you value your opportunity to retire when you want to. If you continue to spend your money unwisely, you'll be working for a lot longer than you intend to. And, one of the saddest things is to see people working jobs that they physically cannot handle anymore, but they're struggling through the job and they're doing the job because they need to make the ends meet. It's also troubling to see people in jobs that they absolutely do not enjoy anymore. It's hard to see them as an elderly person working those jobs because they have to. And so I care about your future. I care about where you're going to be now, today, and in your future retirement. So I can't express it enough. Pay more attention to the fees that many companies are starting to put on you. Even some restaurants. I read an article where there are some restaurants in New York that are starting to add on fees. And I think it's called a kitchen love fee, a wellness and happy fee, and a healthy fee. And these fees are somewhere between 10 and 20%, which I think is outrageous. Now, I don't mind tipping the waiter or the waitress because they deserve their tips. They earn their tips. They're generally hourly, are not getting paid a lot of money. And if I have a waitress or a waiter who does a very good job, then my minimum tip percentage is 20%. If they were a bit mediocre, then I go down from there 15 or maybe 10%. But I never walk away without giving a tip, because in the end, tips are how a lot of these people are making their ends meet. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair that we, the general public who are patronizing these businesses, get hit with convenience fees from every turn. So you need to take the power back. We as consumers are powerful. And if we start refusing to pay the convenience fees by not attending certain venues, it won't kill you to skip a concert. It won't kill you to get to the movie theater a little bit early. It won't kill you if you really need to go to the concert or really want to go to the concert to go buy the tickets in advance. You just plan for it. So why don't you join me in pushing back against convenience fees? Never again will I book a vacation where I don't understand what fees I'm going to have to pay. Because to me, I consider it a hidden fee if I haven't been told in advance that if I purchase something online, I'm going to be hit with this fee. I don't want to learn about this fee at the time of checkout, because that's what happened to us when we went to pay for the final planning of our wedding. We were hit with this huge convenience fee at the end. And at that point, it was a point of no return. Either if we hadn't paid on time, then our whole planning of the wedding would have been scratched, and we would not have had a wedding. So I didn't like being in a position where my back was against the wall. I like having choices. You do have a choice. You do not have to spend your money on convenience fees. You do have a choice. You can use that money that you would have spent frivolously on convenience fees. You can use that money on an investment. You can place it on an investment that is going to invest in your future. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against businesses. Businesses do have to survive, and I want businesses to thrive. But it is time out for taking advantage of the consumer. I hope that you all watching my channel will reconsider your position when it comes to paying convenience fees, because I know that you don't like paying the convenience fee. But some of us, we just blindly hand over our credit card and say, oh, I don't like this, but I'll go ahead and pay for it later. Well, if you don't pay off that credit card at the end of the month, not only are you paying the extra money in convenience fees, but you're now paying interest on those convenience fees. And that's very, very heartbreaking for me. I don't want anyone to be in that position anymore. So I'm signing off for today. Thank you again for watching another episode of Financial Fix with Sharmella. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.